Good morning. Had a chance to watch the Robert Morris game late Saturday evening. And got some corrections made. Didn't spend much time on that game, and we're here early on Sunday morning getting ready for Coastal. But our team's looking forward to going to Conway this Thursday night for a nationally televised game, and versus two great opponents. And we look forward to the challenge we have in front of us. It's going to be a fantastic game.
David Ware, 247 Sports. Sean, you mentioned watching the Robert Morris film, especially more on the offensive side. You know, I know one of the goals from last week, you guys wanted to come out and kind of push tempo, and it was kind of a staggering start. Did you feel like the tempo push was something that the guys kind of got tripped up with, or what did you see when you were watching that film?
I wouldn't say it was the tempo that got us hung up on some things. I think if you look back we scored every single drive that we didn't have a penalty or a turnover, and that was the case. We have a unforced turnover or a penalty you have, it puts you behind the chains and things change. But that wasn't that's not what we wanted to be on Saturday. We wanted to play clean football, and we didn't do it the first quarter. I thought we had a very good 2-minute drive at the very end of the first half. We went 98 yards with 1 minute and 25 seconds, I believe, and that was good. We came out the second half and scored in the first possession, and then after that it's kind of steamrolled a little bit, but didn't spend much time on it. I was excited to watch the young guys play. I thought Ryan Burr came in and did some really good things. Kanye Roberts played. Some of the linebackers played excellent. You look at Broderick Gooch. You look at Darrell Farrar. That they both played very well. Some young corners played, but again, didn't spend much time on that game. It was we watched it. It took about 45 minutes to watch, get some corrections squared away, and we moved on to Coastal.
Talk about the defensive development this season. You know, I think it's been kind of subtle, and maybe not everybody has noticed it in the same way, but you know, they were really, really good from the beginning of that game on Saturday. Obviously, after they made a couple of corrections against Georgia State, they really shut them down as well. You know, you had so many new faces there. You knew there was going to be some development time as guys got more and more reps, and it seems like that's really taking hold. What are you seeing from kind of the coach's side of that?
Well, we're getting older at that position. They're not young anymore after 8 games into the season, but we knew we were going to be young at that. We didn't really talk about it much, but I think it comes down to 3 things we've really hung our hat on the last few weeks, and that's discipline, details, and fundamentals. It starts in practice. We've narrowed the package down in some ways to simplify some things, and now we're starting to play with more speed. I think we're tackling better. We're pursuing the football better on defense, and I think that's where it starts. But again, we're seeing continued development and growth in those guys on defense, and they're playing at a high level right now, and they will have their work cut out for them this week.
Speaking of that, you know, and looking a little bit at some of Coastal's numbers, a little bit of change over there. They went through a lot of personnel transition this offseason, as you guys did, certainly on the defensive side of the ball. But offensively, it even looks different too. You know, their run ratio is a lot lighter than it has been. They're about 60-40 pass right now. You know, Grayson McCall's actually coming out of the game some. They're sending Bryce Carpenter in to do some spot, kind of, you know, wildcat-looking type of run stuff. As you guys are looking at their offense, you know, what maybe is a little bit different about it that you'll have to think about differently than maybe we've seen the past couple of seasons?
I think Jamie does a great job in doing what they do very good. And they're going to run the football, and Grayson McCall arguably could be one of the best quarterbacks in the Sun Belt. He's an outstanding quarterback. He really leads that offense. They're going to run the gun triple, if you want to call it that, but he's also a great thrower, and he does not get enough credit for how he throws the ball downfield and stretches the field vertical. He's getting to his second and third progressions now. He's really developed as a quarterback in the passing game, and again, this guy has started for 3 seasons now, and he's a veteran on their football team. They go as he goes, and I think they've added some pieces to the transfer portal that's made them more dynamic. Anytime you get transfers from Georgia State, and they got a few transfers from Georgia Tech, Oklahoma State on defense, and they've added some key pieces to their team to make them to be the team they are. And I think the transfer portal has really changed things, has changed college football in some ways, it's changed their program in some ways to get better personnel on the field. But again, we have to do what we do best, and that's to play great defense, keep the ball in front of you, rally to the football, and we have to do a better job on offense of keeping sustained drives alive this week.
You're 8 games in, and now you come up on a month where 3 of 4 are on the road. You've only been on the road a couple of times this season. You know, realizing that you've got so many road trips coming up, even if they're a little bit closer than the first two were, what do you learn from those first 2 road weeks that you can apply against this upcoming month, because it's just going to be such a travel-heavy month for you?
Well, it's going to be a travel-heavy month, something we've prepared for all year long. What you learn from the first 2 games, we had 2 away games so far, Texas A&M and Texas State. One game we played very well. Next game we didn't play very well in all 3 phases. But it really comes down to just being 1-0 this week, and all your concentration is on Coastal Carolina. It's the next game, so it's a big game. And the Sun Belt right now is, if you're not focused on the task at hand and playing your very best to be 1-0 that week, it's going to be a long game. And we're not looking ahead. The schedule, some tough games on the market and on the docket. But again, this week's about us playing clean football, be able to sustain some drives on offense, really rally the football on defense, and get them off their mark. If you look at Coastal Carolina, they're excellent on first quarter points. I think they scored 80 points in the first quarter this season, and we do a really good job of keeping those guys. They're going to score points. It's not like they're going to score points. We have to make sure we limit the mistakes and tackle well this week.
Last question for me. Health-wise, I didn't notice a lot on Saturday. I do know that Keyshawn Brown came out of the game at one point, looked like something lower body. But, as you think about the health of the team going into this short week, what do you know at this point?
No, we hope to get Keyshawn back. He was at practice yesterday. Yesterday was a Tuesday practice for us. We'll try to give him some more today, which is Wednesday, in our minds. But that'll be a game time decision. We think Trey Cobb will be a game time decision. Ethan Johnson will be a game time decision, and same thing with Nick Hampton. So hopefully those guys are back. If not, that's the life you live in college football. It's the next man up mentality. Everyone's injured, banged up right now, and this is really going to see where your depth comes in. And we have some depth. They're young at those positions, but again, I think we got really good players, and they're looking for this challenge.
Coaches, you try to strike a balance between guys being focused and motivated, but also being loose and not tight. How do you kind of try to, find that balance of those kind of 2 approaches when you take the field?
Well, don't be like the head coach. I'm always wound up tight. But no, it's we're playing football, and football's supposed to be fun. And I know we're judged on wins and losses, but I want our guys to have fun. These guys our kids are 18 to 22-year-old kids. They have a lot going on in their lives right now outside of football. You're going academics, you have treatment, you have community service, you have a lot of other things. But really, it's to have fun playing football. And I think you go back a few weeks ago, we weren't having fun playing football. And we've changed some things how we practice to loosen them up a little bit, but still be locked in. And the 3 things we've hung our hat on is discipline, details, and fundamentals. And there's not one, all the small things that have to be big things. So we've really concentrated on the small things to give us a chance to be successful on Saturday or Thursday.
When you play a night game on the road, that can lead to a lot of time, maybe in a hotel. Just what do you do as a staff to try to make that as normal as possible for your group?
Oh, we meet. We'll meet as offensive, defensive staff and special teams Wednesday night, Thursday afternoon. We'll do a walkthrough to kind of keep those guys fresh, but also get those guys some well-deserved rest. It's a short week. We came off a game to a Tuesday practice on Saturday, a Wednesday practice on Wednesday, and then we'll practice on Wednesday morning and head to Conway. But to get them off their feet a little bit, give them a chance to relax. But our kids are locked in, they're focused, and they know it's going to be a big football game. And we can sit there and say it's not, it's the next game, but it is a big football game. But every week's a big game in the Sun Belt. And that's something we look forward to. That's something I'm very proud of our conference, of how we've aligned things to make it one of the best, or the premier group of 5 conference in the country.
And last one for me, you went into some detail on their offense. What impresses you about Coastal's defense to this point?
Their defensive line and linebackers, they're excellent. They're big. Their nose guard, Clark's about 315 pounds, will give you a challenge. Number 0, they're filled in. He can really rush the quarterback. And they're transferred kid from Georgia Tech and also from Oklahoma State. They can really pressure the quarterback. They can rush you with 4 to give you issues and play coverage. And then when they bring blitz, one more you can block, and they're excellent in the secondary. So we have to be very strategic of how we do things and how we call the game, but Coach Barbay and Coach Jones got great game plans, and I look forward to see us execute on Thursday.